In my pursuit to go, yeah, for new levels I reach. Aim for the sky, don't settle for less. Realize that you are the best, so aim high. In my pursuit to go, yeah, for new levels I reach. Y'all know what it is. Welcome to episode number 301.
Yes,
You know
sir.
how we do, man. We are happy to be here before you, rock out with you, and have a great time in the name of Jesus. Listen, it's gonna be a great episode, man. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna be talking about Jonathan Majors and his domestic violence accusations. Then later on, we're gonna get into the Tennessee shooting, where unfortunately several people were killed, including the shooter. We're gonna talk about Letitia James, um, as she hosted a drag show, which was interesting to say the least. Um,
For the kiddies
for the
at that.
kids,
For the kiddies.
yeah, no, um, yeah. So we'll talk about that and more topics. There's so many things we want to discuss. If we have time, we're going to get into that 1K Few music video where he had a man dressed in drag. Some feel like it was against Christian thoughts or Christian belief. Some feel like it ain't that serious. You be
Hmm?
the judge. We're gonna let you be the judge. Big shout out to the homie Randy Bazil for Bazil Designs. Um, y'all need to hit them up anytime you need some flyer work, websites, um, pretty much anything you need for graphic design. My man Randy from Bazil Designs will take care of you. All right. So let's get into it, man. First and foremost, my brother LNF.
Sir.
I like your name, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate the love.
uh,
Joe,
I
Joe
hate
Boss.
Restream. Whatever this is. This Restream, this is the other one. This is the other one. So dumb.
Listen, I just feel like uh, imitation is the highest form of flattery. So
That it is.
I appreciate there being two Joe Bosses here today.
I don't know if the world could take two.
You know what? One is all you need.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Wow. I did not see that. Wow.
But
There it
in any
is.
case, there it is. So listen, um, this episode is gonna be crazy. But first, LNF man, let's take it back a little bit. How was your week?
My week. To be honest, I don't even remember my week. So I know the wife was sick last week. Now it's passed on to me.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but yeah, I got a little something coming on. Got a day off from work today, so that's good. Didn't have to work, but still did my podcast appearance before this with Joe Madigan, and and now ready for the pod.
nice,
Yes, sir.
nice,
How about you?
nice.
How was your week?
Week was good, man. This past weekend, I had an opportunity to go to a women's conference called the God Girl Conference, hosted by my homegirl and my sorority sister, Terry Khan Adolfo.
Okay.
Um, and it was dope. It was probably 200 women there.
Mm.
Um, and I was the only male vendor there,
Hmm.
representing for Rise Up Financial Agency. Um, and I was able to connect with a lot of women there. Hopefully, we can help them out with some financial planning.
Word up.
So, looking forward to that. Looking forward to, helping people out on that aspect because that's some of the things we do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and it was a good time. And like what I liked about it, it was very well done. Um, it was entertainment. It was entertaining. It was informative. Um, They had real conversations. Probably would have been realer if there weren't men in the audience. I mean, there weren't really any men in the audience per se. The only men that were there were the pastor of the church, which is Terry's husband, Rich Adolfo,
Hmm.
and the men who were working. Like myself, I was vending, and all the other men were working in either in the media or doing something like background work. That was the only men at this conference. But they had some real conversations. They were talking about, some of the conversations. What's it like being, a Christian woman that's in their later years and still practicing abstinence. One woman
Okay.
was saying, like she was married young and now she's divorced, so it's doubly hard for her to practice abstinence. And it was just
Hmm.
some real conversations because it was like, oh, okay, women think about this stuff as much as men do.
Some, yeah, 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 absolutely.
you know, so I was like, okay, you know, I was definitely, um, I definitely enjoyed being there, you
Mm.
know, because honestly, let's be honest, when you hear about going to a women's conference as a man, you're like, I don't want to be part of that. Y'all have fun. And had I not been vending, I would not have been there.
Yeah, yeah, I've
But
been to a few, but I'm still on the side of I'm good.
I'm good. I'm still like that. But if I get an opportunity to vend, it's a good opportunity for financial planning because, statistically, women are more open to financial planning than men, even though it's
And
a
they live
male
longer, right?
dominated industry. Say it again.
They live longer too, right?
They live longer. They're much more open to advice. They're much more open to setting up insurance. Um, So it's they like the idea of setting up protection in case something happens,
Right,
because you never know.
right, right,
Um,
right.
but so I definitely appreciated that, um, and I learned a lot, and it was a great time. So big shout out to them. My wife was one of the panelists at this event, um, and they had a really good segment. We're talking about women in ministry, and how they have balance and how they grow. It was a lot, and it was a lot in one day event. So
Mm.
it was really good to see.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
What about North Kakalaki? Ain't y'all making a
So
hop, jump, and a skip?
as of right now, we're just waiting on some final paperwork, and the final offer to come. So we'll see how it goes.
Hmm.
Uh, then there was a curveball thrown. There is an interest from somewhere in Texas that reached out today.
Wow,
Listen, my wife is a hot commodity right now.
I see, I see.
Everybody's trying to hire her because she knows what she's doing. She has
Listen,
she has the resume for it. She has the experience. Um, she's she's people really take to her because she's not hard to get along with. Like
hmm,
she's very about helping people.
hmm,
Like obviously HR's job is to protect the company, but she goes beyond above and beyond to not only help the company but help the employees as well. So she's
yeah.
built a reputation as somebody that you want to have as a part of your company.
All right,
So,
drive that
so
bidding
she
war up, man.
exactly. That's what I think is going to happen. It's going to be a bidding war, and you know
Hmm.
what? We win regardless. So,
Yeah, yeah. Like I ain't
um,
mad, bro.
facts.
Do your thing.
That's a whole fact. So, but yeah, man. So good weekend. And just looking forward to continuing to build. Um, we'll be preparing for Easter coming up or Resurrection Sunday. I know don't want to sound super religious or super unreligious,
Hmm.
for both sides, but we got a lot coming up, man. A lot coming up. So looking forward to that. Big shout to I see DJ Chris on the mix. Appreciate you, fam. Thank you for checking in with us. Um, and yeah. So that was my weekend, and that's how we wrap that up.
Bet.
Yeah,
This is up, bro.
yeah. So, listen, let's break it up. Let's get into some music, and then when we come back, we'll jump into this conversation with about Jonathan Majors. Y'all know what it is, man. Rise Up Worldwide is in the building. Make sure that you go on your social media, you like, subscribe, and share this episode on your timeline because it doesn't cost you a thing, but it means the world to us. All right. So we appreciate you, and we will continue to do our thing as long as you allow us to do ours. So listen, LNF, what you got lined up for us?
We got this new KB Easy new music video came out, so it's
All
album
right,
season
it's
right
album
now.
season. Y'all know what it is, man. Stay tuned. Stay blessed. Y'all know what it is, man. Rise Up Worldwide in the building, man. That was KB. Track was called Easy. Man,
Yes, sir.
that's dope. You can make the song rhyme with your name. KB Easy.
Ain't too hard for him, right?
Moreno Papi Loco. I was like, oh, he had me at that line right there, the way he flipped that. The
Listen,
jo-
he's a beast. He's a
he is a
beast.
beast.
He's a beast.
KB
And
is
don't be
definitely
surprised if you see him on the show.
do
Just saying.
not, do
Don't be
not.
surprised.
I might fanboy if that happens. I have to pray about it and get myself together because he's definitely one of my top artists. I would say in CHH definitely top 10 for me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Definitely top
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
Um,
You mean all time?
um,
You mean all time or right now?
right now for sure. I,
Oh yeah,
I
right
don't even
now.
I
Yeah.
can't I don't even know if I have an all time because music evolves, right? And what I was feeling like a few years ago, I might like something more than that now. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So
mm.
it's hard to say a top 10 because I feel like like CHH has evolved so rapidly. I think that it would be hard for me to just narrow it down to an all-time top 10. I mean, obviously there's a few names that come to mind. You want to you got to say Lecrae, right? I would say Andy's up there, Bizzle's up there, um, Derek Miner's up there. There's a
Okay.
few those are people that have been around a long time. The Truth is up there. Um, Richie Righteous, long time. He hasn't put out music like that heavily in a long time, but
Hmm.
he was one of the pioneers for CHH, especially here in New York. Um,
Okay.
I
Okay.
want to
Jeez,
say
that's like seven. That's at least seven right there.
right, but what I'm saying is like those I don't have a particular order, right?
Hmm.
Because there's other people that I can name that I really like and appreciate for a long time. Ambassador, um, what's his name in Ohio? K Drama. Um,
Okay.
I like Brinson.
Okay.
I like Big Phil.
Hmm.
You know, I like people that got lyrics. First off, that you gotta have lyrics, and then there's KB. Um, there's a whole lot of people that got game and got bars. You know what I mean? That's why I say I can't just say that there's a top 10 because some of those people wouldn't necessarily be a top 10, but those are people I definitely got a lot of respect for and would always check out their music when it comes out. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And I
Okay.
didn't
Okay.
even say again,
So interesting. Interesting.
what I mean? Mouthpiece, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Lyrically, he's. Oof,
you know what I'm saying? I'm
oof.
saying like just really if you know what I mean, that it's too much. The whole God Over Money camp is beastly to me. Like if I had to pick a team, that'd probably be my favorite team. Would be God Over Money.
Yeah. If I had to talk about a team, yeah, I think that's hands down. That's easy.
That's definitely my
That's
favorite
easy.
team, and there's no disrespect to any other team, because I definitely rock with all of Reach. I definitely rock with what's Derek Miner's camp uh
RMG.
RMG. I rock with them. and then in a whole lot of other camps. You know what I'm saying? It's too many people to say who is the best. But
It's a conversation. It's a conversation.
yeah, for sure.
Especially even with GOM has changed now. They don't have AI. They don't have Selah. So
Right? Which is crazy. Which is so
hey,
crazy. Matter of fact, we need to get them on the show and talk about that.
okay. I don't know how much you're gonna get, but okay.
You know what? Closed mouth don't get fed. You gotta try, right?
Okay. Okay.
That's all I can do.
Actually, we haven't had Selah on. Selah, he's supposed to be on right anyway. Anyway, right? So,
Yeah, we haven't had him on in a long time.
mhm.
I think we had him on like a long, long time ago.
Mhm.
So we do. Um, in fact, when the last event that we had, I saw I saw what's the battle rapper Sensei Saga. He said he wants to come on the show. So you know what I mean. We got some people we got to
Okay.
line up and make sure it happens, man. Um, in fact, matter of fact, I think Saga had a battle this weekend, either this weekend past or this one coming, because I saw him talking about it on IG with the other battle rapper. They're supposed to be like a tag team type of thing.
Okay. Okay.
So
Dope.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Selah's
somebody
no
said,
longer on GOM. Yeah, he's not. He's
oh,
not.
Flame. That's another one. That's another one. Thanks, DJ Chris. Yo, that's another one. That's a goat. You know what I mean? Like these people are like all time greats that I'm naming.
We gonna make you give a top five. We gonna because
I
right now you're just naming names.
am just naming
Whole bunch of
names.
honorable mentions.
Top five? Ooh, man.
Not right now. Not right now because I definitely can't give a top five right now. So
I can tell
I need
you.
to go back and listen.
I know, like I said, just off the top of my head, two of them for sure would be Lecrae and Bizzle for sure.
Mm.
They would definitely be in that top five list for me.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't even think Cray would even make my top five list.
okay, each his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I think about the body of work that he's put together, when I think about the the success that he's had, about the impact that he's had on the culture, um, to me, he's
Oh
got to
yeah.
be up there. He's got to be top five, if not number one in a lot of people's categories. So,
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. We're talking about personal favorites, or are we talking about
I mean, I'm going off
top
personal
five dead or
favorites.
alive?
I'm going off
Yeah,
personal
personal favorites.
favorites,
Then
but even
Lecrae's not up there for me.
okay, but in top five dead or alive in
Then you have
CHH,
to.
gotta
You have to put him up
gotta
there.
be in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we should do a top five dead or alive CH, which ain't nobody really that was major that's passed away in CH.
No, no, no. DJ official. If we're
Yeah,
talking about DJs,
yeah, DJ Official.
but yeah, I don't think so.
I
I don't think
remember
so.
Brian. What's his name? Brian passed away. He was kind of unknown here in New York. I can't think of his last name right now. You might remember him. I don't know if Brian. He had glasses and he was a little older than us. Like I'm 40. I'm in my 40s now, so he would have probably been in his mid 50s.
Oh no, I definitely don't know now.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Maybe that was before your CHH time.
2010, bro. That's when I officially started listening. 2010.
Okay. Then he was around. He was. See, now I'm gonna have to look him up. Bryant Smith. Thank you, Randy. Yep. Bryant Smith. Yeah, he was. He was locally known as somebody that could do a lot of different things. And he used to put on shows. He used to do a lot for the culture. So big shout to
Okay.
him. Hope he's sleeping in peace with the Father. So let's get into these topics for this evening. As you guys may know, may not know, the actor Jonathan Majors, who is currently has like three movies in theaters, two of them being Ant-Man and Quantumania, where he plays the antagonist Kang the Conqueror,
King. Yep. Yep.
as well as again he's playing the antagonist in Creed 3, where he is opposite of Michael B. Jordan, who plays his childhood best friend turned nemesis. So, and those are two top tier movies right now that he's starring in, and he's killing them in Hollywood. So he was recently arrested this last weekend, and he was arrested and accused of allegedly assaulting a 30-year-old woman. Right. Um, from that arrest, he was charged with second and third degree assault. Um, which I don't know what the penalties are for that, but it does sound pretty tough. Now, I did read one story was that it was an open hand smack to the face of the woman, which caused her some bruising and everything, which means he slapped the fire out of her if he did. But I don't know.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
All right. So anyway,
Domestic violence is not funny.
it's
Nope.
not funny, but the reason I can laugh at it is because she later turned and dropped the charges and recanted her story. But then the police arrested him anyway.
Yep.
So the
Yep.
police arrested him
Because of New York
anyway.
law. Yeah.
Right,
They got to arrest somebody in that situation. Yep.
right, right. Because she could have recanted, feeling that it was threats or whatever. But lawyers have been on the case, and his lawyer stated that they have video evidence that exonerates him from all wrongdoing. So they expect it to be dismissed very quickly. It's also alleged that the woman um, was had mental health issues. So
I don't know. I don't know about that one. I guess. I guess. This starts to sound like lawyer talk at this point,
yeah, of
like
course.
posturing.
I
You
mean, of
know,
course, you never
he's got mental health issues.
you never know what it's going to be with lawyers. But so you know, I'm mad that you couldn't laugh at my joke though.
I can't do it. You trying to get me canceled? Like, nah. Got albums to sell, brother. What are you talking about?
Man. So anyway, so of course they said, from the issue, whatever happened, the NYPD says the woman suffered from minor injuries to her head and neck, like I guess from the force, like I don't know, but
I'm not doing it, man.
I'm
Trying so hard. Like, I'm not. I'm not laughing at it.
okay. I'm just
I'm not laughing at it.
I'm trying to make a dark situation lighter, and maybe
Okay.
maybe I'm wrong for that, but I'm just wrong. So anyway, um, because of the allegations, because of the arrest, um, the Army, the National U.S. Army, are pulling their ads featuring Jonathan Majors. Um, and a statement from one of their, I guess, publicists said that it's basically prudence that he is innocent until proven guilty. But if he is
Right.
guilty, it's proper prudence that they pull the ads down until there's a resolution from the case. So basically, what they're saying is they don't want to be associated with it if he is guilty. Um, but if he isn't guilty, we'll run these ads back later. But right now,
Right.
we're not going to be seen posturing with you at all. Not posturing, posting up with you at all. We're gonna
Right.
keep
Right.
you.
Right.
We're gonna hold this off and see how this plays out. That's basically what the U.S. Army's doing.
Which I feel like I understand that because I mean, wrong is wrong, right? If he indeed did it, then yeah, you got to pull the ad.
You just,
Otherwise, you catch the heat. You know what I mean?
right,
But if he didn't, then you don't want this to end up like a Johnny Depp situation where he lost his whole career And now I guess we can look back now and say, yo, Johnny wasn't he wasn't guilty
Right,
of the things he was charged.
right,
You know what I mean, or accused. So
right. All of that stuff, like he was just dragged, and he probably lost a lot of movie opportunities. He lost a lot of different things because he was accused of something. And
hmm
let's be honest, when it comes to cases like that, the men are always guilty until proven innocent.
unfortunately, yeah, yeah,
Guilty until proven innocent, and it's a shame that it is that way, but it is that way. You know.
yeah,
So
yeah. I do wish we could take these allegations at face value and believe all women.
mhm, mhm.
But I think unfortunately, we're seeing time and time after, time and time again that you can't just naively believe everything women say as far as when it comes to these type of allegations. I mean, if you just look at just recently, we just said Johnny Depp. You got Michael Irving, who a hotel worker said that he said something inappropriate to her. They released the video. The video proved that he didn't. You got Ryan Coogler. They tried to say he was robbing a bank because he passed him a note. He just didn't want nobody saying how much money he had in his account. So he put a note like, yo, keep it on the low. Kobe, let's think about Kobe. I mean, it's so many different people. And now you're seeing like different TikTok creators who they're calling dudes out and saying that this dude is inappropriate. Post it on TikTok, and then their TikTok followers are like, nah, actually, he didn't do nothing wrong. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure what the disconnect
Wait,
is.
say it again. Say that last one again.
So, so like TikTok creators, if you see like these girls who go to the gym, right? They'll take video of themselves at the gym and then show like a dude who maybe he looked at her, checked her out, or something like that, or came over and said something to her.
Hmm.
You'll see where they're like, "Oh, this dude is being creepy." They try to paint this narrative like he was inappropriate toward her, and then when you actually watch the video, their own followers will be like, "Nah, you just blown that out of proportion."
Right.
You know what I mean? And you've had some who've had to come back later and apologize because it's been proven that nah, I was just doing too much. You know what I mean? Like dudes, not every dude just because he look at you is being inappropriate. Not everything is a lustful look just because he looks towards you or approaches you. So,
Not only that, but what are you wearing? Right? Like you can't.
oh, you about to get
No.
into
Yes, I'm going there because
it?
it's one of those things. It's like, okay, can you wear what you want to wear? Absolutely, you can. But if you wear certain things, you got to expect a certain type of attention, right? Like y'all look at me. If I walk outside and I put on a cop's uniform, right? Wouldn't it be prudent of me to expect someone to think that I might actually be a cop?
mm, I mean, yes, but
Right. Okay.
we're talking about the modesty conversation, right?
I'm not. Listen. I it kind of goes into that, right? Or let's say I put on a clown uniform. Would some if I put on the makeup of a clown, the hair of a clown, the suit of a clown, wouldn't I expect someone to think that I'm a clown? Okay. I mean, some things are straightforward, right? Okay, cool. And listen, you have the right to wear what you want to wear. I'm not saying you don't. You do. But also, there's personal responsibility that if you wear something like that, somebody idiotic, some idiot is going to probably say something they shouldn't. Is it right? No, because they shouldn't say stuff to you.
Gotcha,
I agree with
gotcha.
that. They should not. But there's a difference between what is and what should be. And what is that somebody is going to say something to you. What should be it
Gotcha.
what should be is yes, people should leave you alone. They should. But what is that there's always somebody that's going to address you, especially if you dress a certain kind of way. It's just going to be
hmm
happen. It is what it is, right? So part of it is you got to have personal responsibility to know certain things you shouldn't do. Like I wouldn't like if I know I got a lot of money on me, I'm not gonna walk through the hood or through the projects flashing it. Why?
Yeah,
Because I know somebody's gonna try me. Somebody's gonna try to make a come up off me, and I could severely be hurt. So,
yeah, yeah.
me in using common sense and prudence to protect myself, I'm not gonna do certain things. Do I have the freedom to do it? Yeah, I do. But it wouldn't be wise. In fact, it would be pretty dumb of me.
I think the argument for these women would be that they're at the gym working out, and I think in our culture, most gym attire is skin tight,
Yeah,
and is not necessarily uh, what what's I'm not even sure what the word would be, but leading you on, right, and
enticing.
saying, yeah, enticing. Right? I mean, it would be for me. That's why I don't go to the gym partially, but uh,
It's for everybody.
but
It is for everybody. It's not just you.
but I mean, I think that would be the argument. Like, it's the onus is on you to control yourself. You know what I mean? So me as the man to control myself.
Right. It is on the man to control himself, right? But at what point is there personal responsibility as well? When does that come into play? Like, are you not
Hmm.
responsible for yourself?
Hmm. It's interesting.
Like,
It's an interesting conversation and question.
because
Is it at the
listen,
gym?
I agree with
Wouldn't that
you.
to be the place to be dressed like that? Fast acting, sweat wicking up. You know what I mean?
Ag-
Type of attire.
Agreed. Agreed. I'm not saying that, but come on, you can't dress like that and expect people to not at least look. You chose to come
Right.
out the house knowing you're wearing something like that. Somebody's going to at least look. Prime example, I'm at the gym this morning, minding my business, trying to sit up on the machine. Woman walks right past me with on the back of her pants, right across the cheeks, in big letters, it says body. I'm like, come on. I wasn't looking for that, but it was in my
Right.
face. So you're distracting me. And I'm because I'm not trying to pay attention to you. But you can't help but
Right.
to see it because some of it is so in your face. What can you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, another woman walked right in front of me while I'm doing some bicep curls. I'm sitting down. She walks right in front of me, skimpy little shorts, bends right over. I'm like, come on, come on.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, go that away. Like, at what point do I have the right to say go away? So anyway, let's get into some music. Um, when we come back, we'll continue this conversation, and then we'll also jump into the Tennessee shooting, which was just a tragedy. It really was a tragedy. So y'all know what it is, man. Rise up worldwide. What you got lined up, LNF?
We're gonna get into this new Bizzle Bryann T on my own. All right.
That's what it is, man.
Right.
Y'all know what it is. Stay tuned and stay blessed.
All the time, God is good all the time. All the time. Bread and wine, I got Jesus on my mind. On my mind. Gotta grind with this little light of mine. Light of mine. I don't hide like you told me I'ma shine. I'ma shine. I can't do it on my own. Yeah, yeah. Tried and failed on my own. Yeah, yeah. He won't leave me on my own. Yeah, yeah. He with me, not on my own. Yeah. I can't do it on my own. Need God, we not alone. We know He's on the throne. This place is not my home. I've been feeling so homesick lately, praying all the time so I don't go crazy. At the feet of Christ, where His grace, you can find it. Once you get a taste, you can stay if you like it. Ooh, so many times in my life I needed guidance. I tried, I couldn't find it. No lie, why would I hide it? Ooh. I can't be silent. He's on his way now. Consider me a siren. He's arriving any day now. All the time, God is good all the time. All the time. Bread and wine, I got Jesus on my mind. On my mind. Gotta grind with this little light of mine. I don't hide like you told me. I'ma shine. I can't do it on my own. Yeah. Tried and failed on my own. Yeah. He won't leave me on my own. Yeah. He with me, not on my own. Yeah. I'm a sinner, God. I was raised like that. In the synagogue, wasn't even saved like that. But you found me, wipe me down, and you put your arms right around me. Could've drowned me, but made a way for my family. Said I am forgiven and gave me a living. Was dead in my sin and you saved me. I've been to prison, but not cause I did it. I went on a mission to take peace. I say they repent and they hate me, but I feel a drizzle beginning. I'm really wishing they would get into safety. Everybody in the ark for it rains. No more playing in the dark, call his name. Don't you hear the sound? I hear the trumpets play. Take a look around. Yeshua's on his way. Any day now. All the time, God is good all the time. All the time. Bread and wine, I got Jesus on my mind. On my mind. Gotta grind with this little light of mine. I don't hide like you told me. I'ma shine. I can't do it on my own. Yeah. Tried and failed on my own. Yeah. He won't leave me on my own. Yeah. He with me, not on my own. Yeah.
Bring heaven down to this earth, blessing down to this earth. They sending down to this earth to say this felon down to this earth. Don't be fearful, please be faithful. Doubting God is so distasteful. Christ is king, but don't forget it. Best respect it and be grateful, yo. Don't get it twisted, me and mine, we really outside. Hey, Bible with me every time you see me outside. Hey, you just mad cause you left standing on the outside. If all you wanna do is cause division and stay outside. I said they really know I'm safe, yeah. But you ain't really what you say. Man, let me find out you don't even like to pray. If you don't live the way you say you live, then on this field you can't play. Hey.
All the time, God is good all the time. All the time. Bread and wine, I got Jesus on my mind. On my mind. Gotta grind with this little light of mine. I don't hide like you told me. I'ma shine. I can't do it on my own. Yeah. Tried and failed on my own. Yeah. He won't leave me on my own. Yeah. He with me, not on my own. Yeah.
Rise up worldwide in the building. Y'all know how we do, man. Please go up on your timelines, like, share, subscribe. Please, we're trying to grow our audience and we need to hear from you. Jump in the comments and let us know how you feel about any of these topics. Let me know if I'm going too far because, you know, I do tap dance on that line. And LNF, I know he cringes every time, but it is what it is. That's why he loves me. That's my brother. I say what other people want most of the time. And imagine what I say, what I don't say.
I'm scared of that. That's what I'm actually scared of. What is he actually thinking?
Because a lot of times I do filter it. Now my filter setting, admittedly, is on low.
Mm-hmm.
It is on low. Yeah. But I'm getting better. I am getting better because sometimes it's not. It's like, you know how you think about something and then you say it. For me, it's simultaneous.
Oh, okay.
Like I say it as soon as I think it, and then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Deliverance, Lord.
He ain't through with me yet.
Yeah.
He ain't through with me yet. So let's get into this. Well, but let's first, before we get into Tennessee,
we need to get a final verdict then.
Jonathan Majors. So I feel like with what the lawyers are saying and with the video evidence, I feel like he's going to be exonerated. As well as this could be a case of a lover's quarrel. which in some cases it has been known where people will use the police to remove African Americans from a situation. African American men, I'll say, from a situation, which is dangerous. But but this was not the case in this scenario because a few of the reports that I read said that, especially even the lawyers stated that Jonathan, Jonathan Majors himself called the 911 to concern for the woman's mental health. So he's the one that called the police, which may have been a smart move because let's say the situation got worse or she hurt herself and tried to blame him and he had not called the police. Oh, he would be in even hotter water.
Hmm.
So it's huh, tough thing.
Yeah. So for me, I think it's still too early. I think it's still too early to tell. I think on one hand, I kind of agree with you in this in a sense where I'm like, yo, for one, the video will tell all. I think will tell all.
Okay.
Uh, but when they talk about she had bruises on her neck and stuff like that and lacerations, uh, how did she get those? I mean, did it come from him, smacking her up against the window or something like that? Like I'm wondering about that. So it caused me to pause. And then the other side of me says, the skeptic says, what if this is a thing where dude is on the rise? He has the money to pay her to be quiet.
Yeah.
What if he says, all right, I'll give you such and such amount for you to take back everything you said. I mean, so because her statements, she took back both her statements, and that was pretty quick. It was
Yeah.
under 24 hours. So,
Yeah.
as far as I know, she's not somebody who is famous. So maybe she doesn't have money like that. I don't know. Um, but I think it's still too early to tell. I think it's still possible that maybe Jonathan Majors is. Uh, and I don't know if you saw the tweets that have gone out as well. Um, that were talking about his character, saying that in college, I guess he went to what school did he go to? Was it Harvard or something like that? He went to some school, whatever. But people were saying that this is his character. That people that this is who he is. That he's vicious, that he's mean, that he's abusive.
Wow.
This is what people have said. Now, granted, one of the accounts that said it is gone now off of Twitter. It's deleted. The other one is the dude just I think he made it private. Um so
Oh, because they probably got into the. He probably got. They probably dragged him.
yeah, yeah. And he looks like he's a part of the LGBTQ community, I think.
Okay.
Um you know, but yeah, it just to me it's too early. My first thought was, hey, he's innocent. The lawyers came out and were like, yo, we got video. He'll be exonerated from all of this. But at the same time, what if he did do this? You know what I mean? Like, what if dude is abusive? He doesn't seem like it
No.
from what you see in the media. He seems very easygoing. You know what I mean? Doesn't go one way on the spectrum or the other.
Right.
Flying off the handle, but it might be too early.
Um. I would. I don't know enough about him to say to speak to his character.
Right.
Um. I only know him. I only know Jonathan Majors, the actor. Right. Um. He's a hell of an actor. Um.
Listen, that
this-
that gets people in trouble too.
right.
Amber Heard, she's an actress, and everybody believed her off of the stuff she was saying
That's
about
what I'm
Johnny's death.
saying. That's
These
what I'm
actors,
saying. Like
man, I don't
it's
trust them.
they know how to go in character, and they in and out of character for sure. So
Yeah, yeah.
um, I don't. With her recanting her story and the lawyer saying that there's video evidence, I'm going to lean towards not guilty because if there's video surveillance, you can't. It's hard to fault video surveillance, right? The only
Unless if it's doctored,
say it again.
So unless if it's doctored, because people can do that
People can do
nowadays.
that. Yes, they could.
They doing that nowadays too. which is crazy.
They could, but I'm just gonna have to lean towards not guilty. I'm not gonna say that he's too. I'm not gonna assume that this is what happened, especially if because if he's the one that called 911, right? That means the 911 operators will have that recorded that he's the one that called, right?
Hmm.
If it's video surveillance, then that's two strikes towards not guilty for me, right? And then three, if she's now taking her story back. So when I think about all three of those factors, I'm going to lean towards he's not guilty.
Okay.
Your
Okay.
thoughts?
I should probably stop saying this in public, but every time I think about something like this, I think about Tory Lanez and Meg the Stallion.
Okay,
I don't. I still believe that there was not enough evidence to put that man in jail, but they still did it.
agreed.
So I think it's too early to tell. I think that I don't trust people's stories.
Mm,
You know, um, and at this point, you can't even trust witnesses. You know what I mean? Think about that Megan Thee Stallion thing. That's part kind of what I think put Tory in jail, or got him convicted. Was the witness,
yeah.
but the witness when you go back and listen to what the person said, they said multiple things that canceled each other out. So, but yeah, that's a whole nother discussion. So yeah, I just think if I had to say 100% one way or the other, I think he's probably innocent, but at the same time, it's too early to tell, and he might have done it.
Mm.
Then we're having a different conversation, unfortunately.
So you think he did it? Okay.
No, I think he didn't do it, but
Oh.
I'm leaving the door open that he
Oh.
could have
Okay.
done it.
Got it. Got it. Now I understand. Now I understand what you're saying. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Listen. At this point, we have to wait until the trial comes out. And
Yeah,
then the facts will be shown, or at least what can be proven. As they say, it's not what happened; it's what you can prove.
right.
So, again, like I said, I just tend to lean towards that being the case because you never know. So, anyway, now that we've kind of come to a conclusion for that, let us discuss the Tennessee shooting. Um,
Whew.
man,
I didn't want to talk about this. I ain't gonna lie.
I didn't, I'm tired of shootings, bro. Like, I really am. I am so disappointed at the amount of things that happen, the amount of shootings, right? Before we get into this, Ellen, have you shared a crazy point earlier before the show started? How many shootings have there been in 2023?
Oh, was it 21? Was the number 21
I thought you said it
so
was
far?
52 or something like that.
No, 51 as of last year. Last year, 2022, there were 51 school shootings total.
Okay.
I think this year so far is 21.
Mm,
In 2020, there were 10, but most of us were inside. And then in 2018 and 2019, there was 22 as well.
mm.
So school shootings are definitely on the rise. Absolutely.
Man. Um, that's almost one and a half shootings every week. We're only in the near the end of March, right? And it's
Right.
generally, let's say, 4 to 5 weeks in a month, right? Most months are right at 4.5. So let's just say 4.5, right? That gives us a total of 13, 14 weeks into the year, and we've had 19 shootings. So
Hmm.
that means we've had at least one shooting every week, and some weeks two.
Mm. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? At least one shooting every week, and some weeks two.
Yeah.
And these are school shootings, not
Yeah. Yeah.
necessarily in public. These are people going after kids.
Yeah, this was a really sad one.
They're going after the
Um,
defenseless.
hmm
They're going after the like children who don't even really know what guns are except for in the cartoons. Who don't even have
yeah,
the you know what I'm saying? They don't even have the mental capacity to think about what's really happening when it happens.
right,
And you're
right.
ending their chance at life. Like when I was reading the list of the victims that were killed, one of them was the lead pastor's child. Like imagine you being the lead pastor of a Christian school and your 9-year-old child is killed from a shooting.
hmm
That's the last place you think there would be shootings.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, man.
So to talk about this case specifically now, um, it was at the Covenant School, which is in Nashville, Tennessee. The shooter was a transgender male,
Male. Yeah,
meaning it was a biological woman, by the name of Audrey Hale, that was 28 years old, former
yeah.
student of the school. Some facts about this person is that they were under care for emotional disorder, and the police knew that they had hid guns in the home. And this is according to CNN, right? The facts I'm reading
hmm
to you are from CNN. So they knew that this person had at least one gun, and then after the shooting, they found that the guns that they used, which were several, they were all purchased between 2022, 2020, and 2022. Right? I believe they brought 3 or 4 guns to the scene, and unfortunately, 7 people were killed, including the shooter, which was 3 staff members, 3 children, and the shooter was eventually taken down by police,
Right,
which is just it's heart wrenching. It's really, really heart wrenching that this person would go after children.
right,
You know what I mean? Like, I never understand these people who go and try to shoot up places against defenseless people who have nothing to do with whatever their issue is, right? People who, like, there's those 9-year-old children have no idea why they were shot and killed.
right,
They didn't even have a chance. They won't have a chance now to understand and live life because of whatever this mentally sick person was. You know, and I'm saying they're mentally sick not because they were transgender, but because they shot up a school. Shot up a school.
yeah. It's and so one of the crazy things that people are seeing now is also that the person they had a website for their art, and one of the I guess the drawings that they had
Hmm.
was of The Shining, and it had red rum. So if you guys don't know, that's murder backwards. And it was kind of
Wow.
I don't want to say kind of like detailing what they had plans to do.
Hmm.
Um, but there was there. Um, that's disturbing. It's incredibly disturbing that this person had basically evidence out there, kind of what they were planning to do, and I believe they left a message that the police found that said retribution.
Oh,
So this was a planned attack. Uh, I mean, I don't. Not that anybody should have lost their life, but you went after kids like that had nothing to do with this.
nothing. Like you just
You
trashed
know,
me.
you were a former student. You had some issues with the school, but why take that out on the kids? You know, why take that out on 9-year-olds?
Like
This, yeah,
like you got a problem with somebody, go see them.
Right.
If somebody hurts you and you hurt them back, that's still not right. But at least I could at least understand where that you were seeking revenge. It's still not right, but you literally hurt those who did nothing to you, who could do nothing to you, who did not know you, nor could they affect any change in your life.
Hmm. I mean, and one of the good questions I think that people are not really talking about, does this qualify as a hate crime? To say retribution, you obviously had some premeditated stuff going on.
Right.
This was at a Christian school. You're a trans person. I think it's fair to at least examine, whether that, because I think if it was the opposite way, and you had a Christian person who goes into a trans school and kills kids and
Absolutely.
teachers and staff,
Absolutely.
we're saying hate crime. You know what I mean? And there's protests everywhere because the Christian bigots, attack the LGBTQ community. So
That's exactly how it would go too. That's
it's wild,
literally
man.
exactly how it would go. Man, that's so who would it be that this person is hating? Christians, I guess.
I think I believe it has something to do with the faith for sure.
Okay.
Could it have been just this particular school that they went to and attended? Sure, but I mean, a lot of the vitriol that I'm sure everybody else here has experienced, or even just watching. Just I like to watch on YouTube and go onto different channels and stuff that that aren't Christian,
Hmm, hmm.
right? So I'll go to one that's ran by primarily gay folks, and I watch and to see what people have to say. And as soon as somebody Christian comes on, the vitriol that's spit their way and the assumptions that are made about this person and what they believe,
Mm,
um, is crazy. So and at the same time, unfortunately, we as believers, some of us, have given people this ammo. You know what I mean, and these thoughts because we have done these reprehensible things, these terrible things toward people in the name of religion. You know what I mean? So uh yes, it's an entire mess, I think.
I don't even know where to go. So they
Yeah.
attack Christians. They are transgendered. They are already under care for emotional disorder. This was literally a mixing bowl for a bad situation. And clearly they had
Hmm.
easy access to guns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Tennessee, right? So you have what is it, open carry and no permit state. You can open carry. So I mean, a lot of people ask about the assault rifle. You know, that thing looked extremely powerful. And I'm an advocate for guns, but I don't know if we need assault rifles personally. That's just me.
Right.
I know some people are not going to rock with that, but I personally I'm not sure if that's necessary.
No,
You know,
it's not. It's not an
I don't
assault
know.
rifle.
I don't
Unless
know,
you're military, you don't need an assault rifle.
man. Unless you want to protect your household, you know, and shoot through somebody.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
right, that's where they have, handguns and, shotguns.
Sheesh. Yeah, this is true. That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, but an assault rifle, that means you're trying to kill a lot of people.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just saying, you're trying to kill a lot of
I don't
people
know.
with that. So, in any case, let's go to some music. We're going to be going into the second hour. We will continue this conversation, man. It's such a somber conversation, man. And it hurts to really discuss this, but you know, we do. We have to talk about it. So y'all know what it is, man. Rise Up Worldwide. What you got lined up for us, bro?
We're gonna get into this Legion video is called Tracklist. So
Okay. Are we going into one or two videos?
let's go into two.
Okay.
I don't know what's second yet, but we'll get into the Legion first.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Y'all know what it is, man. Rise Up Worldwide. Stay tuned. Stay blessed.
Never let my daughter call herself no savage. My son listening to you rapping about your cap is madness. That's a normal. I'm trying to raise him past the average. Wonder why we ain't passing that action. Check your track list. Look. See, I've been snapping on these plates I'm grabbing. Give me the production, knife and fork, say my grace and smash it. It's the grace of God that's got me making changes. I made a difference in my city. If you've heard me make no bangers, profit on the rooftop. I'm trying to warn my dogs to danger. I believe in my good day. I ain't never met no strangers. See, it's two things I know, and they tell you one about me. I know God, and I know my wife and kids won't be without me. Look, wait, see, please don't go there. The garden that my God plants, I promise, ain't no hoes there. No, only kings, no triggers, only bling, no ratchets, only queens. Street life is gold there. I've been reading MLK afresh. Make a bet. If you do, you find we've been mostly off, like older TV sets. The space between us, like Virginia Beach to Bangladesh. So I flow on tracks to try to close the gaps and make a mesh. Change respects, trading what is good for what is better yet. Y'all arguing shade is best. I just praise the resurrect. I've been so high, your trillion leaves won't match it. We go past it. The same time we been in the cave, see we Cro-Magnum. But we be elite with status. Told my son when BBD was smashing, if she ain't like your mama, retreat in fashion. Flee towards a queen to get a ring and last name. Never after fast games, never chase the loose change. Cause look, all that stuff is just a cover up. If she moving fast, then you need to figure out where she is running from. Told my daughter, if he slick, he ain't worth holding on to. If he don't pass the bar, he get no clicks, Pro Tools. If he don't love you like I love mama, he get no time. And if he ever call you out your name, then he get clothesline. Tell the crooked policeman to watch what he enforcing. But tell yourself on Spotify to watch what you endorsing. I'm trying to bring him life, why you offering them corpses? I'm trying to bring them joy, why you boosting they endorphins? This is home for the orphan, this is help for the helpless. This is hoping all my homies see food like they selfish. Elevate the selfless, repentance for the selfish. I'd rather lock arms with God, I don't want to self-lift. I hope we just as quick to fast as we are to get a plate. I demonstrate the glory of God to get these demons straight. Yeah, I never let my daughter call herself no savage. My son listening to you rapping about your cap is madness. That's the normal, I'm trying to raise him past the average. Wonder why we ain't passing that action. Check your track list.
Authentic. That's all I know how to be, man. Nipsey Hussle of New Orleans, I'm blessing these streets. TD Jakes over 808s, blessing these beats. I'm Joe Clark when I teach, they leaning on me. We flipping M's to W's, it's all about we. I'm living life with a Christ-like mentality, so I can't be quiet about police brutality. Woke purpose-driven man of God, that's why they mad at me. I'm focused on your character, you focused on my salary. That's why I'm balling on them like I'm James Naismith. They angry I made it and I ain't follow they script. You tryna be like somebody else that ain't lit. Be you in first, take it like Stephen A. Smith. They slick when they act like it's love, but it's jealousy. I feel the energy, I got discernment from above. Let it be known, man, it fresh told me what to do. Never suppress me, trying to impress you, come on. I'm not sorry, I'm just me. AUTHENT, I to the C, vibe to the beat. I keep it 97.3. Break it down for the back of town. Break it down for the front of town. Break it down for the uptown. Break it down for the downtown. Don't expect me to bite my tongue, man, I gotta speak up. And when you walk in your purpose, no time to kick your feet up. And if you work for the people, gotta really be a leader. Grandma, my guardian angel, she smiling down at me, bro. I know that God is the realest. If you ain't with it, you slacking. You trying to reach your potential, gotta get rid of distraction. Shout out to Lupe Fiasco, he told me what I was lacking. Started attacking them bees and I went to blizzard attacking. I'm asking God when I pray to give me the wisdom of Solomon and the courage of David. I'm trying to slay these Goliaths and I'm a BOLDMOG, this WOKE, reppin' that MVP. Let go. I'm not sorry, I'm just me. AUTHENT, I to the C, vibe to the beat. I keep it 97.3. Break it down for the back of town. Break it down for the front of town. Break it down for the uptown. Break it down for the downtown. Break it down. break it down. With that mission vision, we don't play around. This for everybody, every state of town. Pass it around, yeah, feel me though. They ain't tryna feel me, they gon' hit me though. Conscious and I'm Christian, they like really though. I be looking at them like they silly though. Trill it though. What you really know about a West Coast soldier? What you really know about a down south soldier? What you really know about a East Coast soldier? What you really know about a up north soldier, huh? And I have fixed. Woman of God, she a rare mix. She conscious, she the baddest. Yeah, she the kind you gotta cherish. Hey, shorty, making moves. You conscious, you gall it. I see you, you got it, you own it. Beautiful. Now what's up? Now what's up? Do what you do.
I'm not sorry, I'm just me. AUTHENT. I to the C, 5 to the B. I keep it 97 plus 3. I'm not sorry, I'm just me. AUTHENT. I to the C, 5 to the B. I keep it 97 plus 3. Yeah, man, I like y'all so much, man. Oh, Rabbit, I appreciate you for that, baby. Man, bro.
I'm gonna keep it 97 plus 3.
Yeah,
That was a
D1
real
killed that one.
song. Hmm?
So D1 killed that one.
He did. He did. I to the E. I'm gonna keep it 97 plus 3. Man, listen, I need y'all to jump in the comments. Let us know how you feel about the situation going on right now between um, or about this Tennessee shooting, man, because it's really one of those tough things. Like, how do you address it? How do you heal from it? How do you help the community? And how do we protect our schools and our children?
Mm.
Like, at what point? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if so many shootings, right? Wouldn't it be prudent for all security guards to carry? Because a lot of times when you're in this, in these schools, security guards don't carry.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how big the school is, because I remember when I was in private school, we didn't have no security,
Right,
and realistically, somebody could walk right in. You know what I mean,
right.
you won't stop them. Secretary, you know. So, and then I think on the other end, you got. Should the kids see that? You know what I mean? Does that make you feel comfortable being in? Like, if you were a kid again, being in school, and you got to be around security guards with guns. Probably got to do metal detectors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, looking at that stuff, doesn't that stuff affects uh, kids in urban areas? You know what I mean? Because
It,
you're walking into a jail, not a school.
um, my first thought is that I would much rather protect them than allow something like that to happen. Right? Like we could talk about, you know, how they might feel by seeing an officer having a gun on them, someone who is paid and trained to protect them, then end up in a situation like this, where I bet you they wish they had some officers who were paid and trained and carrying. That probably could have prevented at least some of the deaths. Not saying that it's a perfect situation, but if somebody comes in shooting went through the door, like this person did, he knew that there was nobody there to return fire. As if he's a former student, he's familiar with what the security looks like.
Well, I mean, 20. You're 28. That's years ago that you went to. That's 20 years ago you went to the school. So
I mean, but still, that it doesn't mean that just because he went to the school 20 years ago doesn't mean he wasn't connected. He
that's
could have
true.
been a volunteer. He could have been, on a parent teacher committee. He could have been on some type of volunteer. He could have been. It's easy when the school is in your community, especially if you used to go there. It means the school's a part of your community.
Right.
You can show up to board meetings. You don't have to technically have a kid to show up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's familiar. So again, the lesser of two evils. I prefer to have armed security personally. If they had armed security at my child's school, wouldn't bother me not one bit. She needs to understand that that police and security are there for a reason, to protect and to keep the bad people from doing things, from doing the worst things.
Yeah, I guess.
I
I
will
guess.
take on the onus of teaching them the difference between somebody wielding a gun illegally to hurt people and somebody wielding or being or having a gun because it's part of their job. There's a big difference, right? Like an example of that is, and this is a perfect example that a pastor gave me one time. He said, if I take a knife, right, a knife in and of itself is not good or bad. It's made to cut things, right? It has a specific task, but it depends on the hand that I put it in will determine what it's used for. If you put a knife in the hand of a
Right.
killer, he's going to hurt and kill people. But if you put a knife in the hand of a surgeon, he's also going to cut you, but with the intention of helping and healing you by cutting something out of you that doesn't need to be there. Same tool, different use,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in my opinion, a gun in and of itself is not a bad thing. It depends on who's using it. Security guards protecting the school, the teachers, the children. I'm all for that.
Hmm. I mean, so I understand what you're saying. I think that there's precedent or even situations that we can go back to and look at to where security has abused this power. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
not that they pull guns out on people, but you've definitely seen video of security guards throwing little girls to the ground and stuff. Like
Yes.
we've
And
seen all of that.
that had nothing to do with a gun. That was
Had
just an
nothing to
abuse
do
of
with a
power.
gun, but what I'm saying is we have precedents to say, hey, just because you have somebody in there who has that power doesn't mean they're going to use it correctly.
I listen again. I'm not. There's no such thing as a perfect scenario every time, right? A
No,
security guard, even if it's a bad security guard, right? And that's not necessarily bad in the sense that they're evil, but if they had abused their power, you fire that person, you get somebody else in there, right? If they're But even if the person abused their power, I'm 100% confident that had a security guard, even one who's necessarily may abuse their power, if somebody's shooting at them, they're going to shoot back. I'm just confident in that. Unless they just freeze and get scared. I mean, but that could happen in any case.
yeah,
But
I don't know.
I'd rather take the chance and give them to protection to protect my child. I'd rather them put their life on the line than me lose my daughter.
I don't know. The
I
parents
mean,
of these
yeah,
kids who've been whose kids have been body slammed by security guards might feel different.
I hear you, but that in of itself didn't have anything to do with a gun. That was just a bad security guard, and you fire them.
But damage is done.
Damage is done.
In the same sense, if there's no security guard, this type of thing happens, damage is done. I don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer. That's all I'm saying.
How do you personally feel about it?
I don't know if there's a right answer. I don't. I don't think that necessarily having a security guard there is a good thing.
Okay.
Could be, but I think that there's also ramifications mentally for kids when they're seeing that type of thing. And at the same time, I think that it makes I understand where people would say, hey, have a security guard there with arms, an armed security guard. I get
Right.
that. I get it 100%, but it's not cut and dry. There's going to be cause and effect for everything. So you make a choice. You make that choice. There's going to be a different effect down the road. So I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know the answer, other than maybe all of our schools should have bulletproof, windows, stuff like that, to help even more. Because if they couldn't get in, then maybe this is bought. There's more time that's bought as well, right? Because it took 14 minutes for the police to get there. Um, if they weren't even able to get in and the alarm went off, maybe they just leave and they get caught down the road or something. I don't know.
I prefer to. I mean, I guess we just got to agree to be different on this one. I definitely would prefer someone who's trained with a weapon than without.
Yeah.
Just because it's happening way too often with their school shootings.
And I'm not saying definitely no. I'm not saying no because I'm for
Right.
guns. So I'm not.
Right.
I'm not saying no. Um,
So then it leads into the conversation of, you know, gun control.
mhm.
It leads into that conversation. Some like you said, Tennessee is a open carry state,
Open carry,
open
no
open
permit.
and concealed.
Yeah. Yep.
New York, you can't carry at all unless you're licensed.
You can't even bring it into the city. At least the city.
Right.
Outside the city, I don't know what y'all got going on, but yeah,
Right. And in Long Island, you can have a shotgun in your home.
sheesh.
Yeah. You just need a license.
Skip the revolver. Just go straight to shotgun.
Well, because a shotgun you can have that legally in your home, and that's it. That's the only one I think that you can have in your
Jeez.
home. A revolver you can carry with you and conceal it. You can't conceal a shotgun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like
Okay. I got you. I got you.
a shotgun is like, okay, you kind of have to keep that at home.
Unless
Whereas,
if you're in the Matrix,
I mean,
got them big old jackets, sawed off. I love that movie.
love that movie. Love the whole trilogy and the new edition. I hope
No,
they.
the new one was trash.
Oh
Oh,
man, come on. Let's not go there. Let's not do that.
it was terrible.
I think it could have been better, but I
I thought it
wouldn't.
was.
I wouldn't say it was terrible.
I thought it was
But
terrible.
that. Listen, we're gonna go off on a whole tangent.
Hmm.
Talk about the Matrix. I will fight you for the Matrix, sir.
I'm not fighting for number 4. 1 through 3, I love them,
Yeah.
but number 4, nah, you can have that.
What?
You can have that. I was
I
so
thought number
disappointed.
four.
I watched that
I thought
joint.
it was genius
Mm-mm.
because the technology had drastically changed. Um, the storyline. The only thing that I didn't like is that they didn't bring back Lawrence Fishburne. That's the only thing that I could say I really didn't like. And they tried to replace him with that other dude. I can't think
Yeah,
of his
yeah,
name right
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, it
Right.
didn't work for me. It didn't work for me at all. I didn't like it. Even the deeper themes I thought were better in the first trilogy. This one
Wow.
just seemed like it was not a cry for help, but I do know behind the scenes that the only reason that the director made it is because they had to, or else the rights were going to go to somebody else, and they didn't want the rights to go to someone else, so they just made the movie. So to me, it was a forced thing. It wasn't a creative. I have something to say. It was just all right. Let me do this because I don't want nobody else to touch my baby.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Tell me how you
yeah,
really feel.
right.
I think that for me, I liked how they did made some changes and kind of made it like they almost brought the Matrix to real life, right? Even though it
Hmm.
was another Matrix per se.
Hmm.
Um, what they did was they saw how like the Matrix and how more people were free and how like they had built little communities and stuff like that. And it was like, okay, I could see this. Like they've grown. Like a lot of things like they didn't try to just continue where they left off. They fast forwarded, many years to see like there's been growth in all this time.
Yeah,
So,
and a lot of humans chose to go back to the Matrix. It's
but
crazy.
at least they had a choice. It's a
Do you
difference
really?
between not having choice.
Do you really? That's the question. That's the question about the whole series. Is there
Yeah.
really is choice? Is it
Listen,
real?
choice is choice. You may not like your options, but you can choose between bad and worse. At least you choose.
Mhm.
So listen, let's go into some music. Because I could talk about the Matrix. We could do a whole podcast just about the Matrix.
Yeah, they got a good one. A good YouTube channel on that. I forget what it's called, but it's good. They break it down minute to minute. I'll be watching that joint. It's good. It's good. If you really want to dig into the nerd stuff, it's real good. I think it's Matrix something, but yeah.
Yep, I have my black nerd card,
Uh-huh. It's
so
dope.
I'll get that information from you. What song do you want to jump into next, sir?
We're gonna get into this Kalom Montgomery. Look at that.
All right, y'all know what it is, man. Rise up worldwide. Stay tuned. Stay blessed.
Look at that. Yeah. I've been in the valley, beating down, yeah, I've known depression. It's teaching me to trust you, got my faith doing yoga stretches. All my issues fade when I come into your holy presence. Every soul infected, God heals, we show him reverence. I know there's plenty atheists, you view me as incompetent, cause I believe that God exists. A healthy fear of him is where true knowledge lives. Sin left me stained, Jesus came to wipe the residue. They lie to earn their revenue, you put them on a pedestal. But we prioritize living lives God can be pleased with. If ever recognition comes, we give it back to Jesus. So you can disappear if you came here to hear some mumble rap. This that give him glory while we cause the devil trouble rap. I'm trying to get you ready, boy, cause we know we coming back. Tribulation come, we moving through it like a tunnel rat. I'm here with good news if you find yourself in a bad spot. He came to wash and clean the filthy rich and the have-nots. Rest for the weary, so I laid down and took a nap. Felt a hand tugging on my covers, try to pull him back. I turned around, looked him in his eyes and said, pull him back. He stumbled out the room and closed the door. Would you look at that? This battle isn't mine, no. Whoa, faith walk, I keep my eyes closed. Oh, yeah, this battle isn't mine, no. Whoa, faith walk and keep my eyes closed. They wanna see me dead like Malcolm X, gunned down behind the podium. I let my little light shine, I'm called to be the sodium. Every verse and word's a dedication to the Holy Son. Does anybody real exist? I feel like I'm the only one. This is my exodus, I'm Moses with the wooden staff, marching to the land that God promised. I ain't looking back. Remember back to when they used to laugh and say I couldn't rap. Now they hit me up to do collabs. Would you look at that? Compassion and grace is what he came to give. I never been afraid of death, I was afraid to live. Once a fatherless son, he said he would take me in. Homeless and hellbound, he swooped down to say the kid. Dead to sin, now blessed, he gave us a living faith. Relationships solidified, right after this sinner prayed. Died to give this sinner grace. An occasion to commemorate like 10-year anniversary dinner dates. Rest for the weary, so I laid down and took a nap. Felt a hand tugging on my covers, try to pull him back. I turned around, looked him in his eyes and said, pull him back. He stumbled out the room and closed the door. Would you look at that? This battle isn't mine, no. Whoa, faith walk, I keep my eyes closed. Oh, yeah, this battle isn't mine, no. Whoa, faith walk and keep my eyes closed. Yeah.
Man, look at that. Dope song. Dope song.
Kalen
Dope
is
song.
killing it. He's killing it, man.
Listen, let's get a check in with everybody on that's watching with us right now. Shout out where you at and what in your city so we can shout you out on the air, man. We appreciate each and every one of you rocking with us each and every week, and we're gonna continue to do what we do like we did it for TV. So listen, we're gonna jump into this conversation about Attorney General of New York, Letitia James. All right, she is under scrutiny because there was an event that was hosted at the center, which is an LGBTQA community facility in Greenwich Village. Right. Um, the issue was that it was a drag event where drag queens were reading stories to children.
Yeah.
It was an issue. So um, the event sparked a lot of supporters and protesters, right? Obviously, the protesters did not feel it was appropriate for drag queens to be doing anything with children. And then there were supporters who obviously support the LGBTQIA community, right?
Right.
Um, Another gripe was that it was using tax dollars to pay for this event, to pay for the performers, to pay for the locations, and to pay for the extra security to protect the event as well as the city council members who were in attendance.
Mm.
So there's a lot to unpack in here. Um, I guess the first question is, should we allow drag queens to to be in schools, doing this type of thing?
So for one, I think introducing any type of sexuality to children, in my estimation, is wrong. I don't care if it's drag. I don't care if it was two heterosexual people. I don't care if it, if that's to me, that's on the parents to talk to the kids about. I don't know how old these kids were, but it seems like they were probably uh, elementary age.
Right,
You know what I mean? That's what it seems like.
right.
So for me, yeah, it was too early. And then also not even too early, but as a believer, um, man. So I've met Letitia James, right? She came to my church, and she when she was running for attorney general, uh, she utilized the Christian vote in order to get in, right?
Mhm.
And she says that she's a believer, but I don't understand as a believer how she went really hard when it came about. Well, you know what? Let me not even talk about that. If you're a believer, how do you host something like this? I'm not understanding at all.
So this is comes down to when you believe in God, but don't know God. It,
Possibly.
I think that's what it comes down to because there's a lot of people who believe in Jesus, they believe in God and everything, but they don't necessarily know his principles, right? So in theory, they love the idea of God. And I've been guilty of this, right? And I have had to seek correction in some matters, right? Because certain things, if it was up to me, then it wouldn't be so bad. But it's not up to me.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
don't
Right.
I don't make the rules, right? So I have to abide by what the Bible says, right?
Right.
If it was up to me, listen, if you want to be lesbian, gay, bi, do you, Just
Mm.
don't bring it my way because I'm not with that lifestyle, right? But do you? But that's just not what how it is in the Bible. God created man and woman. Part of that is
Hmm.
not only for the sake of love, for the sake of covenant, for the sake of survival, because through procreation. So there's three very important parts that come with being, a part of that. So God designed it that way, not me. Secondly, I agree with you. I don't think this was appropriate for children. If you want to introduce this in school because you do have to talk about these things, I don't think this should be a conversation till at least high school.
Mm.
I think you have to have at least some level of maturity to recognize that this is a heavy topic. But to introduce it to children that you're still reading stories to, I feel that's dead wrong because you're putting the idea of them choosing their gender identity when they can't even choose their own bedtime.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like certain things should not be in the hands of children. It just should not be.
I think
Listen,
one of the encouraging things is that this is not all. The people who are protesting were not only like believers or something like that. I'm sure you have believers there protesting,
yeah.
but you even have you have a lot of people within the LGBTQ plus community who also feel like it's terrible and that any sexuality shouldn't be pushed on children. And
Mm,
I was reading, as young there was kids there as young as 3. So we're not even talking this. We're talking about pre-K kids, 3K in New York. It's called 3K. So it's wild, man. And again, I do go back to I go back to Letitia James. I was really surprised. I even reached out to somebody who I know is very closely connected to her, and they were like, "Yeah, I've been around her for almost a decade, and her walk doesn't seem to line up with what she says." You
mm.
know, so um, yeah, this is really
I'm not going to go into so far as to question her Christianity, right? Because
no. We
we've
ain't
all,
talking about salvation. We just talking about the walk, your actions.
again, I won't go personally into that because I feel we all have fallen short of the glory of God, and we all can make a mistake, right? This is one thing she believes in today. Maybe through prayer and supplication, her views will change. I'm personally not going to bash that part of it as to say that she's not walking upright. But I mean, in the fruit says she's not, right?
Right?
But I'm not going to go into that too heavily. What I will say, however, though, is that politicians are notorious for playing both sides of the fence, right?
Yeah.
Politicians will come to your church, sing and dance and praise God, and then leave and go right to an LGBTQ event and talk about equality and all the things that they have, and then go right into a satanic house if that's going to get them the votes. You know, it's really hard to trust a politician's word anyway, because they flip either way depending on who's going to support them.
Some
And
do.
when you live off of people supporting you, quite literally, you do and say whatever is good for the moment.
Some do. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Very most do. I don't know. Very few politicians are principled to the point where they don't flip.
Well, I'm connected to quite a few politicians in New York that I would say have not flipped.
Okay.
who are believers and they haven't flipped.
I
But
can
what
only
you're
think
saying,
of
yeah, what
one
you're
that I
saying,
know
yeah,
of.
I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know a
right,
number, yeah.
right. I would have big shout out to Donovan Richards. You know, he's a believer and very principled man who, you know, who I believe is a man of God. You know, now I don't know personally where he stands on these issues. We haven't had that conversation. I haven't known, I haven't followed, I don't follow politicians that well. I know him because he sometimes attends my church, and one of his good friends is my frat brother. So I met him, you know, years and years ago before he is who he is now. Right. Um, on the same note though, it's hard to trust politicians. They're going to say, most of them will say what they need to say to win the vote. And that's just part of the game. Like politicians, their job quite literally is people pleasing. Their job is literally people pleasing. And when you're people pleasing, you know what I mean? You'll do the song and dance of whatever's popular at the moment.
I would say their
So
job is to serve. I want to say people please.
to get into office is people pleasing. They yes, they're supposed to serve and do different things. I agree with you. That is what the job actually is. But to get into office when you don't necessarily have the power to do certain things, you're people pleasing because you're driving an idea to get you in office to hopefully enact those ideals.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
So
Interesting.
so let's break it up. Let's get into some music. What you got lined up for us, bro?
We're gonna get into this Zaydok. My problems. It's called My Problems.
Y'all know what it is, man. Rise up worldwide. Stay tuned. Stay blessed.
Who this? Ah, it's the homie. Yo, yo, yo. What's good with you, bro? What happened? How it go? Word? I mean, well, we talked about this, so you ain't surprised, bro. I know you was hoping to be a little lower, but they increased you, huh? Well, I mean, at the end of the day, them your babies. You love them, right? Wait, hold on. Them are your babies, right? But yeah, bro, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, this is what we talked about. I told you about my experience before, and this would come with the territory of our decision making. So just don't be bitter towards her. I mean, bro, you know she ain't living in the lap of luxury. She got 2 babies by you, and she got another child. And she ain't with you or that other child's father. So she by herself with them babies most of the time. So that's gonna help her out a little bit. Just think of it as, hey, if I was there, I'd be doing everything. So, you know, this is merciful, even though you don't like the little increase, but you good, right? Right? Yeah, that's what's up. But I mean, if you need anything, just holler. You already know I got you in prayer, bro. And your babies and her, right? All right. Yeah, just keep me. Yep. Yeah, just keep me posted. All right. Yep. God bless, bro. Dang. I already know what it is to be an accident.
Y'all know how we do, man. HOG and MOB and the Godhop MC in the building. Gotta deal with these issues.
All these thoughts in my head, I can't stop them. I've been running from my problems. Maybe I'm the problem.
Maybe I'm the problem.
Thought that I would lose them, somehow stop them. Still they follow, and I keep running from my problems.
Dealing with the results of my bad decisions. Fake woke and claiming the white man had did it. Living with the memory so I can't forget it. And how will I ever change if I can't admit it? Yeah, it was me chasing women, being so seductive. Lust relationships created trouble so destructive. The influence of pimps and porn is so corruptive. I took advantage managed. Left a couple of sisters disgusted. Fornication created the baby and the child's mother. Or she get on your nerves, admit it, you were foul, brother. Maybe you had feelings, but truly did not love her. When you pick up the kid, you say hi, but do not hug her. Going back and forth to court over child support. $400 a month, got my paycheck feeling kinda short. Making money under the table that I do not report. You don't want them issues, then think before you put down your shorts, bruh.
All these thoughts in my head, I can't stop 'em. I've been running from my problems.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the problem.
Maybe I'm the problem.
Thought that I would lose them, somehow stop them. Still they follow, and I keep running from my problems, my problems.
Cloudy days and dark nights, so you won't be saved by some dark night. Where hearts are colder than frostbite, gunshot nasty like Cartwright. First time I pulled on that 4-pound, my hand was shaking like arthright. I'm not a killer, but where I'm from, many lost their life for that off-white. When you play the game, even if you're scared, better be aware, better hold a sig. I ain't talking about no menthols, things fly around that will expose your wig. It just missed you and you know it did. Better go home and hold your kid, kiss him on his head before he goes to bed. Try to spend some time before you go to bed. Cause you either headed for prison or a closed casket listen. You plan crimes and commit them. You also end up a victim. When you sipping on that red rum, you get drunk chasing that income. Those sins you'll never forget them. You knew you were wrong when you did them. Rinse and repeat, that's the cycle we live in these streets. Our sin is a feast. You're so being true by the teeth of the beast. Too many deceased. It will only get worse as the evil increase. We want it to cease, but if we don't repent, ain't no living in peace. Rinse and repeat, that's the cycle we live in these streets. Our sin is a feast. You're so being true by the teeth of the beast. Too many deceased. It will only get worse as the evil increase. We want it to cease, but if we don't repent, ain't no living in peace.
Y'all know what it is, man. Rise up worldwide. And it's time that I brought to you the Invest in Yourself for the week, man. Listen, I am going to get into some concepts, something that's really important that I think you are going to love. And what am I talking about? Creating your garden, right? Create your own garden. And specifically, I'm talking about the Garden of Eden, right? And I'll give you some examples of that, right? So, in the Garden of Eden, right, when God created it, He created it in a way that it sustained, it was basically self sustaining, right? It provided food for the land, it provided food, the land provided food for Adam and Eve, for the animals. It was self replenishing, it had sunlight, and it had four streams flowing into it, right? Four streams. Now, we as believers need to create our own garden. And that starts with money management. That's one of the first things we need to do. So we want to create our own garden with multiple streams so that we can be self-sustaining. All right. What am I talking about? Well, when you are building a business, building a family, building who you are as a husband, as a father, as a businessman, what you want to do is make sure that your focus specifically is building up everything that you currently have so that you can grow into what you want. So you got to manage what you have first. And one of the biggest things that people don't do is manage their money, right? So how do you manage your money? Well, one of the first things you want to do is look at the biblical context of money management. And that comes in the form of tithing, right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about tithing and whether you should do it or whether you shouldn't do it. Joe Boss is going to teach from the perspective that you should. We and me and my family, we practice tithing, right? We tithe our 10%, right? Now, obviously, in the New Testament, doesn't necessarily confirm that, but as a standard, you want to tithe 10%, right? Then you want to make sure that you also, if you're not religious, you can call your tithing charitable giving, right? You don't necessarily have to give it to a church, give it to a charity, support something, right? Because the principle in the earth is that what you give comes back, right? So if you're supporting a lot of different things, eventually God is going to bring it back to you. That's a principle created in the earth, whether you are Christian or whether you are not. It's just a principle, right? Secondly, now that you're tithing, because you're created in God's image, you can now tithe to yourself. What do I mean by that? You're putting your 10% in the offering to go towards the church and to charities. Now you want to take 10%, manage that, put it into a savings or an investment for you to grow, right? This is how you're going to grow your future. This is how you're going to grow your retirement. This is how you're going to save to start your business, right? So you're going to manage that. You're going to take 10 to God, 10 to yourself, and then you're going to live off of the 80. 10 to God, 10 to yourself, live off the 80. 10 10 80 rule is what I call it, right? The 80%, if you manage it right, should cover all of your expenses: your home, your food, your clothing, your transportation. Those are the main things you got to manage with that 80%: home, food, clothing, transportation, right? Once you get those four maximized, then you can add in some entertainment. But you got to take care of everything else first. So now that you've managed and got your money management underground, now you want to start thinking about building your streams of income. Right? I'm not now I'm giving you a lot of information in a short amount of time, and we'll unpack this more on another day. But you want to start building your streams, right? And I know that there's going to be people again that have something to say about the tithing, and I can't just leave this alone, right? You see, tithing is an act of faith, right? See, God doesn't need your money; He needs your faith. That's what tithing is. It's saying to God that I trust you, and I'm submitting my finances to you. You see, God provides everything that you need. So he needs your faith in order to provide you with more. I need y'all in the comments to let me know if this is resonating with you, right? So now that you're planting your seeds of faith through your tithing, now you need to add some water to it, add some streams to it, right? And the streams comes in multiple forms of income. How can you have multiple forms of income? I already got a job, Joe Boss. What are you talking about? I'm doing the best I can. Well, all I can. Okay, cool. Right? Chances are if you work a job, there are auxiliary services that you may be able to provide to improve your job, or that you can just develop as a secondary form of income, right? Auxiliary services. If jump in the comments and give me any profession, and we could talk about auxiliary services, right? If you're a teacher, right, you work in a school system, what's an auxiliary service? Well, you could be an auxiliary service would be teaching at home or tutoring. Tutoring is an auxiliary service. You could make a business out of it, right? Shout out to T Martin Tutoring, to my homegirl Tanisa. She's a teacher. She's doing it, right? Um, let's say, like for example, my business, I am in insurance, right? What can I do to provide other things and auxiliary services? Well, I can provide more than one type of insurance, life insurance, health insurance. I'm working on being able to offer auto insurance, homeowners insurance, right? Those are four different options right there. Auxiliary services would be retirement planning. Auxiliary services would be credit repair, notary services. All of these things are related because when you're dealing with people's finances, they tend to need these other services, right? Let's say you run a daycare, right? Let's say you're an entrepreneur, you run a daycare. What's some auxiliary services? Daycares need supplies. They probably need diapers. They probably need wipes. They probably need disinfectant. They probably need blankets and towels and all of these things that they need to run the service. So that's an auxiliary service, right? So you can create these secondary streams of income by just doing something on that side of it, of creating auxiliary services, right? And depending on how well you do it, that could be two, three, four levels of income. So now you got your primary job, you got your auxiliary service. Maybe you want to have invest into the stock market. You want to have some investments, something passive that's growing that you're not necessarily have your hands in, but it's still growing, right? That comes from that 10% tithe to yourself, right? That's a third stream of income. And lastly, you can get into some type of real estate. Have somebody else run the business for you, right? You own the property, but you have a property manager actually dealing with tenants, actually doing something. That's investing in a business. So there go four streams of income to grow your own personal Garden of Eden. All right. So listen, if this blessed you, please jump in the comments. And if you so feel it in your heart, you can cash at me at Joe Boss Radio if this blessed your life. All right. I'm gonna put it in the comments for you, and I'm gonna pass it off to LNF.
Okay, okay. Yeah, a lot there that I'm down with. I agree with. The only pushback I'll give, right?
Okay.
I'll be that person. And I don't think you meant it this way, but you said God needs our tithe. I don't think you meant it like that, but it's just in
No,
speaking.
no, he doesn't need your tithe. He needs your faith.
Or needs your faith. I would argue that God doesn't need anything from us. He doesn't need our faith. Doesn't you know what I mean?
So,
God
so we
is. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the reason I'm saying that is because God created us to have dominion in the earth, right? God doesn't at this point. It's been proven that He doesn't, according to the Word, right? God the Father doesn't come on earth anymore. Neither does Jesus. They left the Holy Spirit here to stay with us, right? And in that, God created us to subdue the earth. Again, scripture, right? So if he created us to subdue the earth, that means he created us as agents to take control of the earth and to do his will in the earth. So he needs us to have faith in what he wants us to do, because his will is going to be done, right? But he wants to partner with us and have that faith. To us, our currency in heaven is faith. That's our currency with God, because we can't give him anything physically that he don't already own, right? And he gave us free will. So the only currency that we can give God is our faith in him. So in that, and yes, maybe need is not the right word, but it's our faith that he uses to grow us in the earth.
So the only thing that pleases God is our faith, right? True. But yeah, like you said, the need is the issue, because we're talking about an attribute of God now, that the infinite being, all knowing, supreme in power, doesn't need anything from us finite individuals. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's
That's wrong.
semantics. That's
No,
semantics.
I don't think it is. When you're saying, when you're speaking of God's, who God is, To say he needs anything would mean he's no longer God. He doesn't have any needs. He may want, you know what I mean, but he may be pleased by our faith, but he doesn't have any needs from us whatsoever.
I would debate that, but I understand where you're coming from. I do. I understand where you come from. The only reason I would debate that, and I don't want to get into a whole debate about this because again, I feel like this is semantics right now. Um, is in the fact that if he gave us dominion, it's his principles that he's following, not ours. So his principle would be that he gave us dominion, and we're to follow his will, and we're his agents here. So then, by that principle, he would need us to do his will.
Yeah, I disagree, but that's
Okay.
keep it
That's
moving.
fine. Again, semantics, right? This wasn't the biblical debate on that portion. This is about building your garden. This is about
Right.
building 4 streams of income, right? So whether you feel, so God will use your faith. Is that better?
Sure, he can use your faith.
He will use your faith.
Or he can use the person who doesn't have faith. Either or. Or he can use a donkey. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying or no?
I'm ignoring you right now. So
Listen, do your thing. I don't believe that tithes are necessary for believers.
okay.
I do think that's an Old Testament thing. But I do give, and I give more than 10% because I do think that there is a principle of relying on God and not relying on the money as if that's the thing that's supplying for you.
So you
I
do
agree.
tithe, but you don't believe in tithing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe I have to as a believer. There's nowhere in the New Testament that speaks that I have to tithe. Should we be giving people? Yes, we should be. We should give freely as it's been given to us. But
I mean, I don't think that it's sinful if you don't tithe. If that's what you mean.
yeah, what I'm saying, there's no obligation to tithe.
Right.
No obligation
I
whatsoever.
agree. I don't think
That's
it's
what I'm
an
saying.
obligation. But
As
it does
was
say that he
before.
will, he will protect what you have financially through tithing. So
Moving
I
on.
get it. I get it.
Moving on. Moving on.
So I love it because me and you never agree, and this is one of those examples.
This is not going to be the whole Mike Todd, Carl Lentz thing earlier. No, we're not doing that. Not right now. We're doing it.
So listen. In any case, for those of you in the comments that felt that you got something out of this, man, please like, subscribe, share, and let me know. Appreciate Randy and Rodney for believing in that this was a blessing. Big shout to Pastor Grant. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you for rocking with us. And listen, man, we have come to the end of the show. I want to thank each and every person for rocking with us. Shout out to Malachi 4040. Shout out to Randy Bazil. Shout out to DJ Chris. And everybody that was able to tune in and may not have jumped into the comments. But listen, we will be back here next week at the same bat time on the same bat channel. And let's end out on some music and let's see what you got lined up for us, Lost and Found.
Yeah, we're going to get into this Stephen Malcolm On Point featuring KB.
Okay. Y'all know what it is, man. This is how we do it. We will see y'all next week. Stay tuned. Stay blessed. Greetings, family. My name is Joe Scott, and I am the senior financial professional here at the Rise Up Financial Agency, where we make insurance personal by providing an elevated level of support for future-proof living. It's 2023, and it's time to make this your best year financially. We would love to sit down with you and have a financial review where we go over all of your life situations. Did you recently start a new job and need to roll over your retirement plan? Or did you start a new business? Did your family increase in size with the birth of a child? Or, on the other hand, did someone pass away? What about a teen that's going to college for the first time? Or you just graduated college and you're about to start your first job? Either way you look at it, all of these are reasons for us to sit down and review. All right? Let's sit down in person or set up a virtual meeting so that we can review all of your information and make sure that we put you in the best position to have the best financial year you've ever had. All right? Again, you can contact me here at riseupfinancialagency.com, on social media at riseupfinancialagency, or you can scan the QR code here right to my left. I will speak with you soon. Let's make the best year ever.
Hey, yeah. It's on point like, yeah. That's on boy like, yeah. On LA, the boy went, whoa. That's on point like, yeah. Whoa, Midwest. Hey, yeah. Know I gotta grind out daily. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady. Game time about to go crazy. Squad so deep that we look like the Navy. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady. Had a teenage dream like Katie. I'm doing what I love and they pay me. 2 years in the fan still waiting. Guess the pass on point like Brady. I mash on the boy like Navy. Rage on the stage, make the crowd go crazy. Put the tune up, pack it up, rack it up. Have it looking like a trap house in the 80s. I can't buy time, so I give my family more. Some be so blind, I think that's what I'm in for. So many people pretending can't do no more. God give me signs, said this not my pinnacle. So I been tripping, that's why I been laying low. Dipping these interviews, been trying to get to know my older self and get back to the music. I might go stupid so God can use it. Know I gotta grind out daily. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady. Game time about to go crazy. Squad so deep that we look like the Navy. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. 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 Me, I'm a champ like Bailey. Ain't none of these odds gon' faze me. A lot of y'all fraud and faking. The champ is here and I'm waiting. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady.
KB in the bay going crazy. Put peace on the hood Mercedes. Young boys letting off 80. Leaning next to a Dior like Haiti. This ain't no Bonner, no Bailey. No internet clown gon' play me. Money ain't never gon' make me. I can win with a couple bucks like Brady. ACA baby, you cannot shame me. What they gon' pay me to shut my mouth? Ain't gotta okay me, then they gon' save me. I'm finna stay free on the house. Know what it feel like, getting the deal like touching the meal like this ain't clout. This isn't real life, I got a real like price is better and it ain't no doubt. I ain't got time to debate, there's countries to save. Afghanistan, Cuba, I pray. I see you trying to be you, I'm trying to be hope for the people that's stuck in the grave.
Know I gotta grind out daily. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady. Game time about to go crazy. Squad so deep that we look like the Navy. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. 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 Me, I'm a champ like Bailey. Ain't none of these odds gon' faze me. A lot of y'all fraud and faking. The champ is here and I'm waiting. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady. Yeah. Pass on point like Brady.